With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, we're Sugar Pants. Welcome back to the basement, my yucky younglings. Time once again to reach into the Wayback Machine for a putrid picture from the past. And today's horrific horse duver is none other than 1988's Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. A late-night Skinamax staple that I just never was able to catch, regardless of how many friggin' times they played the commercials. And they played them a frickin' lot. So let's check in with Abraxas and see what those lumberjackin' ladies are loosing upon us all.
Nice alliteration in that one. We have 4 dead bodies, 27 cups blood, 14 naked breasts, 1 naked butt, 1 naked bajingo, smoking, legal disclaimer cliche, narrating private eye cliche, whole movie is a flashback cliche, you might want to take a look at this cliche, bad guy spills the details cliche, more smoking, clunky sexy talk, 1 roofied drink, tompeepery, naked wet work prep, lingerie baseball posing, communal motor oil consumption, flame fondling, topless fire eating, body paint bra, 1 glittery G-string, even more smoking, 1 handectomy, 3 loose fingers, baseball bat knockout, bathtub chainsawery, headbutt knockout, knife carved chest, giant hypodermic to the ass, chainsaw to the guts, chainsaw to the tits, chainsaw dueling, still more smoking, ironic chainsaw failure, and Gunnar Hansen cock blockery.
And I hope you didn't bother bringing a meal to eat during this one, because I promise it won't take long to give this one synopsis. It's basically 75 minutes of a hard-boiled detective telling us the flashback about the case he just finished, where he's hired to find a teenage runaway only to get mixed up in a murderous religious cult that worships the Egyptian gods and believes the chainsaw is a holy implement to reach the highest levels of spirituality. And even with all that going for it, the most outrageous part is the fact that we're supposed to believe that 30-year-old Linnea Quigley is playing a teenager. Don't get me wrong, I'm always happy to see our queen of schlock, but she ain't the 19-year-old they say she is in this one. It's still not as egregious as the 40-year-old college students in Lone Wolf, but still. We kick off listening to Detective Jack Chandler banging away at his typewriter, smoking, and doing a terrible Humphrey Bogart impression. Cut to some random hole in the wall where some poor schlub is drinking alone until some stranger named Mercedes comes up and jams her finger into his glass hole. And it takes about 2 whole minutes of movie to convince him to come back to her place. She puts on not the worst Elvis impersonating music I've ever heard, and then she starts yanking off all of her clothes. We get a sexy little fully lit naked dance before she starts hanging up plastic wrap around the room. Sure beats the shit out of Christian Bale dancing to Huey Lewis, don't it? Eventually, she gets the dude to close his eyes so she can grab her favorite toy out of her sock drawer. And then we get the best chainsaw death that doesn't involve Art the Clown. Mercedes cuts the dude to pieces, just off camera, while her naked body is splashed in copious amounts of blood and fleshy bits. And some stranger watches from the window. Jack's checking in with the local police precinct because some other chainsaw-wielding lady was in lockup, and her description sounded vaguely like his runaway. It's not, but it's how he gets involved with the case. Elsewhere in town, some creepy dude is nervously waiting for his prostitute to show up, and I'm sure we can all guess exactly where this is going. Oh, don't worry. He just wants to take photographs of her posing with this baseball bat. She nudes up pretty quick, but you won't be seeing that here. Eventually, she cracks Dr. Strangelove upside the head, stuffs him into the bathtub, and saws him to pieces, all while a stranger watches from the bushes outside. Thanks to some evidence he swiped while at the precinct, Jack follows up on a blood-soaked book of matches with Mercedes' name on it and ends up at the same dive bar from earlier. And he's barely able to order a drink before Mercedes herself pounces. They get a table, and that's when he notices the stripper on the stage is none other than his runaway Samantha. He calls it in to his cop buddies just in case he needs backup, but he gets an automated message. The 80s, am I right? By the time he comes back to the table, Samantha has stormed off the stage and Mercedes has ordered some drinks. To the shock of absolutely no one, Jack passes out from whatever she spiked his drink with. He wakes up tied to the bed in a room full of women in various level of dress. Unfortunately, before anything fun happens, Gunnar Hansen interrupts and tells the girls to leave. Then with practically zero prompting, he tells Jack the whole story.
What is this, some ancient chainsaw-worshipping cult?
Actually, that's just what it is. Our cult needs sacrifices, human sacrifices, frequently. The blade of the saw purifies the evil flesh and makes it holy to please our God.
Oh boy, somebody get these kooks a copy of Dianetics. Might ground them in reality a little.
You can't get rid of this by sheer force of will or positive thinking or taking advice from a big Hollywood movie star and the dead science fiction writer he worships.
The ladies re-enter the room with the instructions to get rid of Jack, but luckily they run out of gas before they even get started. Mercedes and Ilsa head to the nearby gas station, and runaway Samantha stays behind. And now that they're alone, we find out that she's actually infiltrated the cult because they killed a friend of hers and she's looking for some revenge. She unties Jack but says she can't go with him because she's supposed to be tonight's prime sacrifice and she's going to use that opportunity to burn down the temple. Jack insists she comes with him, but she refuses. So he gives her a knockout headbutt and takes her back to his office.
I'm sorry I had to cold cock you like that.
Oh, well, that's okay. You did what you had to do.
Apparently, concussions are a major turn-on for her. The two head to where Samantha thinks the temple is located. Fortunately, the cult is really stupid. Unfortunately, our hero is stupider, and the two are caught almost immediately. Samantha is jabbed with an awfully big needle and taken away for the big ceremony.
O Horus, great God of the heavens, look down upon us, your faithful servants, unworthy in your eyes. Let us praise your greatness this night with our feast of the dead.
They serve some lovely motor oil refreshments. We get some nice topless fire tricks. And it all culminates in
The virgin dance of the double chainsaws.
Folks, I really, really wish I could show you this part uncensored. Basically, Samantha is wearing a painted-on bikini top, and it's actually really well done. The best part about this is the fact that Linnea here is totally topless, but that didn't stop TV channels from using this image for their commercials. Even the basic cable ones where you can't show any actual nudity. So major props to the makeup department for making such a convincing body paint job. Anyway, Samantha jiggles and grinds around with a pair of chainsaws for a while, and Jack is brought back to be sacrificed on the altar. And it's here that we get, in my opinion, the best inside joke of the whole movie.
Did I just think of hiring a full-time mechanic?
Now that's funny right there. I don't care who you are. Get her done. Luckily for Jack, his friends at the police precinct are on the way. Eventually, the chainsaw is fired up and it's handed to Samantha, who's still under the whammy of that injection. But she snaps out of it and gives the leader a bloody death. Mercedes grabs another chainsaw, and we get an awesome sword fight between the two hotties. And folks, you're just gonna have to excuse me while I take a moment to enjoy this. Finally, Samantha strikes the killing blow, and we actually get some flesh chainsaw contact when Mercedes takes a blade right between the Bobbsey twins. Samantha gets a bloody shower and unties Jack. The cops show up and chase after the fleeing cultists. Jack takes Samantha back to his office, and we roll the credits. And that right there is probably the worst part of it all. We get a teaser for a movie that'll never be. Or at least I assume it'll never be, since it's been 37 years and no word on it yet. But it took Eli Roth 16 years to give us Thanksgiving, so who freaking knows?
This holiday season, prepare to have the stuffing scared out of you. Thanksgiving.
And that's Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I've actually known about this one since it was basically a staple of late-night trashy cable back in the 90s. But until reviewing it for the show, I've never actually had seen it. It was just one of those titles that always seemed unavailable whenever I went to look for it. Unfortunately, I think those decades of anticipation kind of worked against me, because I feel like it's a little lacking. Oh, the title is definitely honest enough. We see Hollywood. We see chainsaws. We see hookers. Sorta. I mean, there's no sex, but it is implied that these women are getting down and dirty with their victims, Black Widow style. And technically, some of the extras are actual ladies of the evening, apparently. It's just weird whenever I see a title like Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and think that the actual content was too subtle. Most of the movie is just kind of bland, following the detective as he retells his latest case. They don't play it super serious, which helps keep the tone silly, but most of the jokes feel hokey, trite, and kind of miss the mark. Like, imagine a Bugs Bunny cartoon with special guest star Humphrey Bogart. We are there to see Bugs do his thing, but the movie's gonna mostly be a bad Bogart standing in with a couple of scenes involving Bugs. That's how this movie feels. The straight man kept setting up the jokes, but the other half of this comedy duo just never popped in to land the punchline. But the last 20 minutes is definitely crammed full of the trashy goods. Should have had more of that and less of Sam Spade. And that's spelled S-P-A-Y-E-D, because any scene involving him has very little testicular fortitude. There was plenty of skin on display, but I feel like this one would have been better off with a little bump and grind. Not like Beach Babes from Beyond, where we stop the movie for a 10-minute blue filter softcore scene, but just a little more proof that the lady minions definitely are getting off before the murder. Just keep it silly and playful to avoid any tonal switch whiplash. But if there's one definite positive I've got to give this movie, it's casting Michelle Bauer. My God, what a consistently fun actress so far. I've only had 2 movies where she's been a feature role, this and Nightmare Sisters, but so far she has gone above and beyond what was necessary for the movie. There's definitely a noticeable difference between a stupid silly movie and a stupid silly movie where the actors are having fun. And Michelle looks like she's always having a blast.
Let's get primitive.
Definitely a fun movie, but at times it felt like they played it just a little too safe. It's certainly got its cult following, but going along with movies in this tone, I think I had more fun with Nightmare Sisters. If you haven't seen it, I don't highly recommend it, but I would midly recommend it. If nothing more than to see what a fun team of movie makers can do in 5.5 days. Seriously, That's how long it took to shoot this one. 5.5 days. So that's it for this awful allotment, kiddies, and until I visit your vestibule for the next vicious vision, this is your chainsaw chuckler sugar pants. See you in your dreams.
What are we supposed to do? All right. Let's get to it.
No, but don't we get to first?
Nah, it's almost time for Letterman.